I'm back, coming to you today from a completely random alley next to a main road for probably no particular reason. However, there is a slight reason as to why I'm in a completely different town, namely, what's inside this bag? I'm sorry I have to use this disgusting bag. I found this bag in my house, I broke my other one, so today we're talking about what's in here. Alright, so today, if you hadn't already guessed, we're going to be talking about why I really like the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Now, as some of you may know, I picked one up a couple of months ago. Here it is. Well, here it is. And so we're going to be going over a few things that I really like about this MacBook and why I honestly think I might end up preferring it to the bigger MacBooks. Honestly, I got this one because it was the only size that the M1 chip was available in, but say there was a 16-inch version, if I could go back and choose again, I honestly still think I'd go with this. Let me explain why. So the first thing that I really like about the 13-inch MacBook versus the bigger MacBooks is that it is significantly more portable. It's not only smaller, but it's lighter too. I mean, that's kind of to be expected with the smaller size, but still it is very noticeable. Back in the day when I had 15-inch MacBooks, I've got to say, it was pretty difficult to carry around. Often it would make my bag like super heavy, but in this disgusting, horrible bag that I have to use, perfectly manageable. What this means is I'm essentially more likely to bring it places when I travel, so I'll not only get more use out of it, but in situations where I definitely have to bring it, I'll avoid back strain. Seriously, it doesn't sound like much of a difference on paper, but when you have these things in your backpack, totally different. And while the 15 inches were necessary back in the day due to the fact that the 13 inches just weren't powerful enough, when I would take that 15-inch MacBook with me to school, I'd get home and this part of my shoulder would always hurt. So yeah, nice to not have to deal with that anymore. Leading quite appropriately on from this, we have the power of this machine. Now, this specific machine I've got in my backpack is the 13-inch M1 version with 16 gigabytes of RAM and I think 256 gigs of storage. I don't really keep track of that stuff. I work off external drives anyway. But this thing right here is actually the first MacBook for me, at least up until the 16-inch, that is powerful enough for me to do my main work on. Whenever I'm editing, I tend to put a lot through my computers, so I need something that has the power to back up the portability. And luckily enough, this new generation of 13-inch MacBook Pros absolutely does that. Tons and tons of stuff is getting updates at the moment. I know Adobe Premiere Pro just got updated to work natively on Silicon, as did Film Convert, which is my main grading program of choice. Probably use it to color grade this video, actually. But yeah, the amount of power that these 13-inch machines can provide is honestly pretty outstanding, and it finally means that I can have a truly portable, but still up to the task of editing, mobile workstation. Do you like this angle? I'm standing in a car park. This is a pretty big car park, actually. And you know something else that's important for a portable workstation? Battery life is very important on a mobile workstation. I mean, what's the point of it being mobile if you have to plug it in every hour or so? And this is a reason why I really like the 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro. The battery life on this thing, even when I'm working, is pretty outstanding. It can pretty much always get me through an edit without needing to plug it in. And furthermore, you don't actually lose any performance like you do with a lot of Windows laptops. At least that's how I remember it. I don't know if they still do that. I haven't edited on a Windows laptop in many years, but whether you're using them plugged in or unplugged, at least to my knowledge, the performance is pretty much the same. And if I'm not doing any work, chances are the battery life is gonna last for days in my use case. If I'm not working on this laptop, I might be watching videos, maybe chatting to my friends on apps like Telegram, and obviously on the performance side of things, it works totally fine just then. I think the most heavy load casual thing that I've done on this laptop is I plugged my Elgato capture card in so I could stream Bloodborne for my friends to watch me play on Discord. But yeah, even things like that, this 13-inch machine on battery power handles it totally fine. Okay, so next up, we're going to be talking about the screen. Now, the screen on this thing is actually pretty impressive, despite it not seeing a resolution upgrade in the last... When was the Retina MacBook Pro released? Since the Retina MacBook Pro was released. Yeah, despite it not seeing a resolution increase since then, the brightness and the glossy finish make editing on the go on this MacBook Pro an absolute pleasure. The glossy finish means the colors are nice and accurate, and the brightness this means that I can actually work outside in almost direct sunlight without it being too much of an issue. And while glare can occasionally be an issue, I much prefer glossy screens over matte screens, because at least when light shines into them, you can actually see stuff rather than just like a white haze. Yeah, the screen helps bridge the performance with your human interaction with this computer, and again, it makes it even more usable as a portable workstation. What's more is the keyboard. Now, over the last few years, the MacBook keyboards haven't exactly been great. However, on this 13-inch MacBook Pro, they kind of went back to the roots with a nicer, more traditional chiclet style keyboard, doesn't have any of the issues of the butterfly switches, and feels incredible to type on. Now, you guys know I am a sucker for a mechanical keyboard, but honestly, this is probably my favorite non-mechanical keyboard I've ever tried. It's nice and tactile without it being overly loud, and I can actually type pretty fast on this thing. So if I'm ever doing like a script on the go or something like a shot list, or even just using this keyboard to edit. The keyboard on the 13-inch MacBook Pro is awesome. Something else that's nice is the speakers. Now, this is another thing that traditionally hasn't been all that good on the 13-inch MacBook Pros. Back before my iMac, when I was using MacBooks, I found that with the traditional Retina model of the MacBook Pro, the speakers on the 13-inch just weren't up to scratch. On the 15-inch, they were okay. They had some traditional top-firing speakers, but over the years, they've sort of added that to the 13-inch, and on my version, I've, again, found the speakers to be really quite usable. Now, I wouldn't exactly use them for mixing or anything critical like that. However, just for some casual listening or whenever I'm editing, and I'm not focusing too much on sound, the speakers on the 13-inch MacBook Pro are very nice. Okay, so unfortunately, it's not all positives. Now, we're going to be talking about something less good. So, I'm sure some of you saw this coming, but the port situation on the current M1 13-inch MacBook Pro isn't exactly great. Now, while I personally really don't have an issue with USB-C, I do think it's the future at this point. Two USB ports. Now, I get that a 4-port version is probably coming, and I am impatient. Now, I personally have found ways around this. For example, I use a USB-C monitor that both charges my computer and comes with some extra ports. I would have liked some extra USB ports. Alright, so that's the negatives I have. Seriously, everything else, at least in my experience, has been that good. Hence why I love this computer. But I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to edit this video for you guys to see with this computer unplugged outside. I want to make a flat white though first. I think that'd be nice. Alright, so I've just finished editing the majority of this video. Quick little demonstration. This is all color graded with Film Convert Pro, which is a very intensive color grading program. And as you can see, quite appropriate is that but yeah, totally fine. This is a 4K timeline, as I said, with Film Convert, sharpness. There's a lot of stuff on this timeline. My hair got stuck in my computer. Alright guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this one. This took way longer than I expected it to. I don't know why, just shooting this video took a really long time. Let me know, by the way, what do you think of the 13-inch MacBook Pro? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you own one? Feel free to let me know in the comments. I always enjoy reading those. If you want to help support the show as well as get bonus videos, awesome wallpapers, and much more, then feel free to check out the Patreon. As for now though, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, then smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.